Ferruccio Lamborghini, from tractors to supercars, the legend of one man. A farmer boy's dream. 1926, Italy, village of Renazzo. In the very region where automotive legend Enzo Ferrari grew up, Ferruccio Lamborghini is born. His family was involved in farming, and it was this environment that instilled in young Ferruccio an insatiable interest in mechanics. In 1944, 18-year-old Ferruccio was serving as a mechanic in the Italian Air Force. When his unit was captured by the British, he continued to fight for his life in a German POW camp. Here, in the cold and hunger, he made the necessary tools from scrap metal. First, he built a radio from scrap metal, and then he developed an escape plan for the prisoners. One night, while the guard was sleeping, Ferruccio organized an escape from the POW barracks. For 3 days and nights, he overcame obstacles until he encountered Italian partisans. This experience taught him to think creatively in the face of adversity, a skill that later laid the foundation for his business empire. After the war ended, in 1945, Ferruccio appeared in the Italian villages, holding a screwdriver in his hand and collecting parts of half-burned tanks and jeeps. His brilliant idea was to assemble tractors from military waste. In 1947, the first Lamborghini tractor was born. The engine from an old military vehicle and the frame from an American Jeep. In 1948, Ferruccio founded the company Lamborghini Trattori. His tractors turned out to be so reliable and in demand that Ferruccio soon became rich. Farmers even bet on their durability. "If Lamborghini can't move this stone, all my wine is yours." However, he had a much bigger and more ambitious dream. The war taught Ferruccio 2 important lessons, or what he called a recipe. The first, to create something from nothing, the realization that even garbage parts can be a resource. And the second, if they say impossible, it's only their opinion. It was with these principles and the resilience gained in captivity that he faced the challenges ahead. Ferruccio Lamborghini was a great lover of sports cars and owned several Ferrari models himself. However, he often expressed dissatisfaction with their clutch system. According to legend, one day Ferruccio brought his mechanics to one of the Ferraris and discovered that the clutch detail was exactly the same as the one he used in his tractors. This infuriated him, because if for a tractor this detail cost a symbolic price, say 10 lire, for a Ferrari, it cost 1,000 lire. Having decided to personally talk to Enzo Ferrari about the shortcomings of his cars, Ferruccio noted that Ferrari cars not only had constant clutch problems, but were also too noisy and rough to drive. Enzo Ferrari, enraged by the criticism, arrogantly replied, "The problem is not in the cars, but in you. The tractor manufacturer does not understand anything about sports cars. You are a tractor driver, a farmer, and you cannot drive my cars. They are the best in the world." This humiliating remark greatly irritated Ferruccio Lamborghini. Offended, Ferruccio replied, "Yes, I am a farmer, but I will show you what a real sports car should be." It was at that moment that he made one of the most important decisions of his life, to prove to Ferrari and the world that he could create the perfect sports car. Many considered this madness and warned that it would only waste his fortune, but Ferruccio was not going to back down. Automobili Lamborghini, the birth of a legend. In 1963, Ferruccio Lamborghini founded the company Automobili Lamborghini. He recruited 3 leading engineers from Ferrari and bought a large plot of land in Sant'Agata Bolognese to build a factory. The goal was ambitious: to create a supercar that would compete with Ferrari. In 12 months, he produced the Lamborghini 350 GTV, a car that would break Ferrari's elite monopoly. The first prototype, the Lamborghini 350 GTV, was ready in just 4 months for the 1963 Turin Motor Show. However, there was one big problem: the prototype had no engine. The reason for this was that Ferruccio could not agree with one of the team members on the design of the engine. Lamborghini had a brilliant idea: to put bricks in the engine compartment to make the car sit as if it were weighed down by a heavy engine. Fortunately, everyone at the auto show was so impressed by the revolutionary design of the prototype that no one asked to remove the hood. 9 months later, in 1964, Lamborghini created its first serial sports car, the 350 GT. This model was considered a technical masterpiece. The car, equipped with a V12 engine, debuted at the next Turin Motor Show and was admired by critics. Lamborghini proved to Enzo Ferrari that he was not just a farmer, but a real genius who could create the best cars. 13 copies of the 350 GT were sold immediately after its release. At first glance, this is not much, but for the supercar market of that time, this was not a bad result. Over the next 2 years, the company managed to sell 120 such vehicles. Wild design and conquering peaks. Over the next few years, Ferruccio's tractor and sports car business flourished. Lamborghini cars soon became known for their distinctive features. Aggressive and futuristic design, cars were often named after fighting bull breeds and other impressive names, such as Miura, Countach, Espada, Islero, Jarama, Uraco. Powerful V12 engines, their impressive sound was even used in movies to create atmosphere. Lift-up scissor doors. This style, first introduced on the Countach, became Lamborghini's calling card and was later adopted by many other manufacturers. The Lamborghini team also created the 400 GT, while at the same time working on a secret project, the Miura P400. The latter was, in fact, a racing car for the streets, with the engine located in the middle, behind the driver. Interestingly, Ferruccio was initially against creating racing cars. A few years earlier, he had tried to participate in the prestigious Mille Miglia race with his modified Fiat Topolino, but had an accident. This incident ended his racing career as soon as it began. Therefore, the team developed the Miura project secretly from him for some time. When Ferruccio learned about the project, he decided not to abandon it, and this was perhaps one of the best decisions of his life. Work on the Miura was completed 2 days before the 1966 Geneva Motor Show. Placing the engine in the middle of the car body became an almost invariable recipe for all subsequent supercars. It was the Miura that brought the Lamborghini brand special, worldwide fame, and made it a favorite car of celebrities. As Frank Sinatra said, "If you want to be somebody, you buy a Ferrari. But if you're somebody, you buy a Lamborghini." The legendary Countach, which was released later, remains one of the most recognizable and iconic cars in the world to this day. Challenges and the winds of change. Everything seemed to be going well until external factors intervened in Ferruccio's affairs. According to one of the big deals, Ferruccio was supposed to deliver 5,000 tractors to Bolivia. However, a coup d'etat took place in Bolivia and this multi-million-dollar deal collapsed. To avoid bankruptcy, Ferruccio Lamborghini had to sell 51% of the shares of Lamborghini Trattori and Automobili Lamborghini. Added to this was the oil crisis of the 1970s. The embargo imposed by OPEC led to a sharp increase in fuel prices, which plunged the auto industry into a severe crisis. Ferruccio also tried to find a way out of the crisis and began to sell his unsold tractors. However, in the end, he decided to retire, and in 1974 sold the remaining 49% of Automobili Lamborghini. After that, Ferruccio settled on his own farm in a small town in the Umbria region of his native Italy and devoted himself to winemaking and hunting. Lamborghini after Ferruccio, a period of rise and fall. The new owners of Automobili Lamborghini tried to save the brand, but failed, and the company's liquidation became inevitable. In 1981, the Italian government sold Lamborghini to the Mimran brothers, Jean-Claude and Patrick Mimran, for $3 million. They wanted to revive the company, restore the old factories, and hire new engineers, but they lacked financial resources. In 1987, the company was acquired by the American auto giant Chrysler. Chrysler wanted to popularize the brand in the United States, but did not get the desired profit. In 1994, Lamborghini was sold to the Indonesian conglomerate Megatech. Although sales in Asia improved, the financial crisis that began in the region again complicated things. The Audi era and the new golden age. It was during this difficult period that Audi, a member of the Volkswagen Group, entered the scene in 1998, ushering in a new era of success for Lamborghini. Audi's financial and technological support allowed the brand to regain its rightful place in the market. With the launch of iconic models such as the Gallardo, Murcielago, Aventador, Huracan, and especially the SUV Urus, Lamborghini's sales continued to grow. The Urus broke all sales records and successfully entered a new segment for the brand. The farmer's unfinished legacy. On February 20th, 1993, Ferruccio Lamborghini died of a heart attack in Perugia. He left behind a great legacy, a brand that still inspires admiration and embodies strength, courage, and innovation. "We only lose when we give up dreaming and fighting for it," said Ferruccio Lamborghini. And it was with such indomitable determination, dedication, and self-belief that a farm boy who assembled tractors from post-war scrap metal was able to create a billion-dollar empire and write his name in golden letters in automotive history.
Apex perfected. Drift control. Max output reached. Another 100 of a second. Shell.